Hi, I'm Amir architecture graduate from University of Kent, and this is Lepas Sekolah.
Amir, thank you for being on Lepas Sekolah with us. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your education journey and your career journey so far?
I started off with an SPM. After SPM, I applied for a scholarship and got in. I did IB, International Baccalaureate Program, in MARA College Banting. And then I flew to University of Kent to do an architecture degree for 3 years. And then once I got back, I ventured out of my area of studies to work in the education sector. Now I'm currently serving with the University of Nottingham, Malaysia.
You studied at College Islam Sultan Alam Shah, or as I know it, KISAS.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to go to KISAS?
Right, okay, it's a bit controversial. Okay, but technically, I did not choose to be in KISAS actually. Last time we have PMR, right? So after PMR, we had an option to actually choose to go to either Sekolah Asrama Penuh, SBP, or MRSM. I remember applying for MRSM TGB because I know that it's a very smart school and a lot of opportunity to apply for scholarships like within the schools, right? So I applied for that one, but I did not get in because I think the interview part is very, very hard, yeah, for MRSM. So I also applied for Sekolah Asrama Penuh, and that time we can choose a few options. So technically, I wanted to go for the science schools. So I don't remember where, but I have a list of like science schools that I want to go because I don't want to take Bahasa Arab. But my parents insisted me to take additional language, Bahasa Arab, because I did it in my PMR, and I got an A's. So yeah, so they wanted me to take Bahasa Arab as well. That's how I got into KISAS. So I applied for the school, went for the interview, and I got in. Yeah.
Do you mind telling us, based on your experience, what's the difference between an SBP like, let's say, MCKK, compared to an Islamic SBP like KISAS?
The academic, or you call the curriculums, are all the same because it's either Kementerian or Malaysia, right? It's just that for Sekolah Agama, they will have an additional subjects where you have to take. So in my subject, you have to take another three, which is Bahasa Arab, Quran Sunnah, and Sharia. So technically, Quran Sunnah and Sharia, it's derived from Pendidikan Islam, but it's more specific lah, so it's divided into two. Yeah, so we have to take 8 core subjects, core elective, and then another 3 compulsory subject under the schools, which are those 3 lah, Bahasa Arab, Sharia, and Quran Sunnah. And then, because it's a sekolah agama, we are more involved in practicing Muslim community. Yeah, we have an organization called, I don't remember, but I think it's like Badan Dakwah Islam something, or Badan Dakwah dan Rohani. So it's like the pillar of KISAS actually. So it's more powerful than the school prefectorial board. So I think that's the difference between sekolah agama and the normal SVP schools.
Looking back, how has KISAS shaped you as a person?
The school has shaped me has become more of a better Muslim. Yeah, you have to actually remember wherever you go, you are actually a Muslim. So wherever you go, when you go outside, in your careers, in your education, when you go out, when you go overseas, you have to remember that you're a Muslim and you are bonded with all the practices lah. Macam you have to remember that rukun Islam, rukun Iman, and then like don't do things that are haram. Yeah. So I think it shaped me quite good where I can actually meet new people, but also not go within like my faith.
What were the core memories that you had of KISAS, the good and perhaps the bad as well?
Okay, so the good things in KISAS is in the school we only have Form 4, Form 5, and Form 6. Okay, so we don't have like the middle school, like Form 1, Form 3, right? So when we enter, we are as Form 4, we are considered as juniors. So the good thing is all of us in one batch. I remember we have around 130 Form 4 students, male students. We have to remember each and every one of the names, their previous school, where are they from. There's some details that we have to remember. It's kind of compulsory in order for us to become very close as a brotherhood. So I kind of like that. It gives us a sense of brotherhood. We are more closer to each other. Okay, so that's what I like. What I don't like is because we are juniors, so technically the seniority is there. Even though we're from 4, we're 16. But we kind of feel like we're from 1 in a way. We have to call the seniors abang in a way, which is a bit weird. We're 16 and they're 17. There's like 1 year gap. Yeah, but it's compulsory for us to call them abang. But yeah, but since we're juniors of the school, so we just have to go through it lah. So that is like something that I don't really prefer. Yeah.
After SPM, you went to Kolej MARA Banting
Yeah.
to do your International Baccalaureate, your IB. How do you end up in KMB?
Right, so after SPM, of course, like any other students as well, I'm not sure where I want to go after that. Because I know they're talking about Asasi, diploma, matriculation. And at that point of time, I don't know what are the difference between those. So I did my research. And then of course asked my siblings as well. Even before we did our SPM, some of us have started applying for scholarships. So like our school counselor, I think they're like the one in charge of the Form 5 students on the progression pathway after SPM. But at that point in time, I don't think the counselor did a very good job. Most of us, we have to do research on our own. There's a lot of opportunities that I saw back in the days, but it's all very competitive. So I applied for the one that I think I have a chance to get in. But actually, it's good if you can apply everything lah, because there's nothing to lose actually. So I applied for MARA scholarship. I did not get the scholarship at first, but I appealed with my SPM result, and that time they accepted the appeal and I got in.
Do you remember what was the scholarship process? Was there an interview?
I think applying online at that time, and then have to also submit your trial result, SPM result as well. I'm not sure if you have to submit like the core curriculum kind of thing. I don't remember that. So after that, we are called for an interview. So at that time, we have to go to the college. I think I went to Banting or somewhere else, but I don't remember. I'm not sure if it's even Kolej MARA Banting that time. Yeah, the interview place. But we have to go to an interview, and there's a session where it's a one-to-one interview, and then there's also a session where it's like a group interview where you have to actually do something and present something like in front of the judges. Yeah.
How was life like at KMB?
So all of us in KMB, we have to do IB, right, International Baccalaureate Program. It's an IB school, and of course, it's actually very busy because everyone has to take 6 subjects, 2 languages, and then you have to get some sciences, like mathematics, and then some sciences, and kind of like social sciences as well. Every element of the education, you have to take at least one. Yeah, so now we have 6 subjects. And then we also have another 2 assessment, which is the extended essay. It's like a mini research or dissertation. And then we have theory of knowledge, which is a subject which I don't like and I don't really get it until now because it questions everything. Yeah, we're a bit busy at that time, but I would say that it's kind of rewarding as well because people who got into KMB, those are the one that we can actually click with. All of them are very smart, and then they're very kind and very active in a way. Yeah, so I would say it's rewarding, a bit stressful because of the academic, but yeah, I think all of us managed to actually complete it like successfully.
Perhaps the unspoken fact of students at KMB is that majority, if not all of you, did very well for SPM. Most likely you're under a MARA scholarship. So most likely you are smart.
Okay.
So did that environment, being surrounded by people who are intellectual, who are most likely ambitious, was it pressuring or was it thriving?
Okay, I would say it's a combination of both. Yeah, it's definitely a combination of both. Okay, so when you're actually in a group of very smart people, very ambitious people, you are kind of being pressured to become like them. Yeah, so it's very it gives you a sense of competitiveness, if that's a word. Yeah, so you want to be like a best version of yourself, so you can actually catch up with them, on par with them. So yeah, I would say it's a combination of both. It's good and bad things, but it helps you grow as a person. Yeah.
Walk us through what the syllabus like is for IB. Did SPM in any way prepare you for your pre-university?
Okay. SPM did actually help in a way because in SPM we take a lot of subjects. Like for me, I took 11, and then so we have languages. We have all the 3 sciences, maths and maths, and then some Islamic modules. In IB, you also have to take 2 languages. For our, it's of course it's Malay and English. We have to take one of the sciences as well. So at that point, you can actually choose if you want to go for the physics, chemistry, or biology, or like environmental science. Okay, and then you have to take maths as well. Okay, for example, at maths in SPM is actually maths standard level in IB. You know, yeah, so it helps, but it's a bit hard, I would say. Yeah, but technically, if you took maths in SPM level, when you take maths in IB, it will help you a lot actually. I mean, for IB diploma as a whole, you don't actually focus on the exams only. You also have assessment for each modules or each subject that you have. For math subjects in IB, I don't remember the weightage, but you have an final exam, and you also have an assessment where you have to do your own research, and I think it's 20% of your final marks for that math subjects. Yeah. So you have to come up with your research proposal or like hypothesis, and then you have to do the experiment, and then you have to make like a whole report. Yeah. So that's the assessment lah. So it's combination of coursework and also exam based. People like me who are not really keen on doing exams, it's a bit of an advantage for us as well because the coursework can actually help you in your final marks. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you eventually did architecture at the University of Kent. At what point did you decide to do architecture, and why architecture?
Since a young age, I like visual arts. I like things to do with my hands. Like I like drawing, I like coloring, I like painting, you know. So I was thinking of doing something that in line with my passion, but also makes money. At that moment, at that point, I don't know that majoring in visual arts can actually make money. I didn't know. I'm not sure of that. It's like no one told me that. But what I know is architects make a lot of money. So because of that, because I like art and I wanted to make money, so I ventured into architect even though I'm not really sure what I'm going into. Yeah, because studying architecture is actually hard if you don't have a passion for it. So that's how I end up choosing architecture.
When you eventually studied architecture, right, and you went to the University of Kent, what was the process like to get there? Meaning, what was the application process? Was there an interview? How do you end up there?
Oh, okay. So in my batch, if I'm not mistaken, during KMB, we have two architecture classes.
Yeah.
We took the same courses with four subjects. I think all of us are expected to apply for architecture programs because, of course, we're sponsored by MARA, right? So I have to follow the requirement. The counselors in KMB, she's very helpful. She listed out all the universities in the UK that has an architecture program, and also because architecture is a professional degree, and in order for you to actually work in Malaysia, you have to apply for an architecture program that is accredited by Lembaga Architect Malaysia. At that point, it's called LAM. So from the pool of universities that offer architecture, we have to actually choose the one which offered the accreditation as well. So the pool is being much more like narrower from the list of the universities that are LAM accredited and also in the UK. We applied to those universities as well. So to apply for UK universities, you have to go through UCAS, which is the UK application portal. So you have to choose 5 universities. When you apply for those universities, I think they will ask for your predicted IB results. So you have to provide that one. And because you're applying for architecture, some universities will ask for your portfolio. So portfolio is where we actually combine all of our works in IB, like all the artworks that we did in IB, and then we submit them to the university. So they will assess us based on our grades and also the portfolio, and then we will get like offer whether we are accepted or not.
I mean, what was your first impression when you first settled into the University of Kent?
So actually, University of Kent, to be honest, we don't have a lot of Malaysians there actually. I'm not sure why, but maybe because it's not like in the top 10 universities in the UK, you know? But it's quite good. At that point of time, we don't have seniors that we can refer to, and we don't have a specific person that we can actually liaise with to know more about Kent. In my batch, there's only 2 of us who applied for University of Kent, and both of us got in. So we only have each other. Okay, so when we go there, we don't really know what to expect, but what we know is it's not far from London. Okay, so once we arrive there at London Airport, and then we take the university shuttle bus, and then it goes straight to Kent. Okay, I can't remember. My first impression is like the place is very green. Okay, apparently it's called the Garden of England, and it gives you like English kampung vibes. Yeah, which at that point I didn't really like it at time because it seems very macam tak ada apa-apa. Okay, but throughout my journey, I love it there. Yeah, because it's very chill. So like to compare like universities in London and campus universities in outskirts of like London, I would prefer the campus universities like Kent or like any other university that are located in like cottage side of the UK.
What about the degree itself? When you started taking your classes, going for your tutorials, was architecture everything that you thought it would be?
Okay, right, okay. So, okay, architecture in the UK is like a 3 years degree, right? In the degree itself, it's heavier on coursework than on exams. Okay. So what I know is, as I mentioned before, I don't really like exams. In my degree, all the modules you have to do coursework, but there's one module you have to do exams. I don't remember the name, but it's more on history of architecture, like the Renaissance in the year 1800 or something. It's hard for me. So we have to balance like our coursework and exams, and it's actually very tiring as well. Okay, I know that before I entered architecture, a lot of people are saying that it's not an easy path. That there's a lot of late nights, coursework you have to do. You have to stay in the studio until in the morning, which we did. I did as well. Yeah. But throughout the journey, it was a bit different than I thought. I'm more of a person where I like to do things using my hands. Like I like to actually draw like the plan using my hands, you know. But in second and third year, everything was digitalized. I don't really like that. Yeah, so I still prefer doing it on my hands, but because it's in the module, so you have to complete your modules using the digital platform that the university have given you. Some people will love it, but for me, at that point of time, second year and third year, I just want to pass. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of students are, and in their first year, they wanted to actually excel. They want to get first class honors. Yeah, but throughout the time, you have to actually have the passion and work hard for it, and then you may or may not get first class honors.
One pattern that is quite evident among architecture students and graduates is that upon graduation, they tend to move into other fields. At what point did you realize that architecture is not made for you?
For architecture students, right, to excel in your field, you have to have the passion for it. If you don't have the passion for it, even though you have the skills, it's actually very hard. Those two main things are very important. Like, you have to have the passion for it and you have to have the skills for it. So if you lose any of these two, it's very common for architecture graduates to actually move to another industry. For me, around second year to third year, and because that time it was COVID as well, so it's getting harder for me to actually adapt with the degree itself. So at that point of time, I decided to just make sure that I graduate and maybe venture to another industry at the moment. Yeah, I kind of feel that maybe I'm meant to do something else. Yeah.
One thing that you did at University of Kent was you were the Malaysian Night director.
Oh, yeah.
How did you first get into that role?
Every year in the university, I think it's like a common UK university kind of thing. We have our own Malaysian society, and then we have a flagship event called the Malaysian Night. So the Malaysian Night is actually a theatrical play or a musical play where we as a group organize the play and the performance to actually perform in front of audience. So we sell tickets and then we get people to come in and watch us perform so that we can actually show them what Malaysia is. When I started university in 2018, there was actually an audition to become one of the cast for Malaysian Night. So in the first year, the Malaysian Night theme, it's for Puteri Gunung Ledang. So I auditioned to become the Sultan or like Hang Tuah in that time. I got the position to become Hang Tuah. So in first year I was there as a performer, and then in second year I applied to become the director. Yeah, so that's how I got.
Did you eventually get to direct it, or did COVID come in and prevent?
Okay. This is also, I would say, rezeki for us. Because at that time, I managed to direct it. We did our preparation from so our academic year is September until June.
Yeah.
So we did preparation since 2019 September, and then the play is scheduled to be in March. Eventually COVID came in March, but we actually managed to do the preparation, and we set the date of the play to be 7th of March 2020 because the next week COVID hits.
Yeah.
So we managed to actually perform our Malaysian Night.
Okay, so you mentioned that in your first year you were an actor.
Yeah.
Second year you were the director.
Yes.
Which one do you prefer doing?
To be honest, I prefer to be the actor on its own. I don't have to think how to direct it. There's a lot of thinking to do at that time. It's not easy actually. So you have to have a team for that. So you have to actually direct the whole thing. The logistics, the play itself, castings. So it's all under you. If I have a choice at that time, I wanted to become an actor. So I don't really have to think how to direct the show or everything. I just want to perform in front of people. Yeah. But as I mentioned, the Malaysian society in Kent, we're not as huge as the one in London or Manchester because there's a lot of Malaysian students study there. But in Kent itself, I think we're less than 100. And sometimes, if we don't have enough cast, we will ask some of our friends who are not Malaysians, to actually perform with us as well. We have a few of Mak Saleh's also perform with us in the Malaysian Night. Yeah, so I think we got closer a lot during Malaysian Night itself.
Now let's go into the final part of the interview, which is what you're doing at the moment. So upon graduation, you came back to Malaysia and you started working with Harriet Watt in Malaysia. How did the opportunity come about? Why did you take it and what did you do?
Okay, so after completing my my third year, it was still COVID era. A lot of our friends, like a lot of my friends, they mentioned it's hard to actually get a job. So at that point of time, I know that I cannot actually pursue architecture because I don't have a passion for it. I kind of lost the passion for it throughout my degree years. Alhamdulillah, I managed to graduate lah. Yeah, so at that point of time, I'm not sure what I want to do. After graduation, so I stayed home and I actually take language classes. I take language classes and I did part-time as a barista. The opportunities to actually work for Harriet Watt is actually from my sister because my sister graduated from Harriet Watt University, the one in Edinburgh. Okay, but because we know that Harriet Watt also have a campus in Putrajaya, which is very close to me, and they have an opening. So I just apply for the opening. At that point of time, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's just a leap of faith. You know, I follow the flow. So I just applied for it and got interviewed, and I actually managed to got in.
What exactly do you do at Harriet Watt?
I applied for the role. It's called education consultant. The department is called marketing and recruitment. So basically, what we do is we assist inquiries from prospective students. So like if they come to campus and wanted to inquire about the programs, we will be the person in charge for that one. Yeah. So we have to equip ourselves with the university products, you know, like the degree that we offer, and then any of the details that like the finances, the scholarship that we offer, accommodations that we offer, we have to actually know that so that we can present it to the people, to the parents, or to the students who wanted to study with us. Yeah, so that's what I did in Harriet Watt.
How was that shift, obviously, from studying architecture to go into the education sector? Do you think your passion lies here? Do you enjoy doing it?
Okay, to be honest, at first, when I started with Harriet Watt, when I had a meeting with my manager that time, I mentioned to her that I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So she just laughed. As time goes on, and I know that actually we're actually helping students to actually enroll in universities, to actually shape their pathway and also address their concerns on different pathway after SPM or IGCSE. The skills that I implemented from architecture school to my career is actually it's more on presentation and public speaking. I remember vividly one of the projects that I did in university. So when we presented our work, so we call it crit or critics. So every semester we'll have our own crit where we presented our work to the lecturers, and then you have to like show your artwork, like show your designs of the building, and have to presented it in front of people. I remember that my work that time was not that good because she mentioned that she did not get my design, but because I presented it very well to her and like my articulation and she understand what I'm trying to do. I got quite a good grade because of my presentation skills. Yeah, but not the artwork itself. Yeah. So I think that is a skills that I can actually implement in my career. Yeah, which is talking to people, make connections, building networks. Yeah, so that's actually a good transfer skills.
Currently, you're with the University in Nottingham in Malaysia as a regional manager for Southeast Asia. Do you mind telling us what does the job description entail?
It's similar to what I did in Harriet Ward, but the responsibility is a bit bigger, where I'm actually oversees the international students recruitment across the Southeast Asia region. I have to do the strategic planning and of course implemented it to actually get more students to come to university. Yeah. So we work closely with agency partners across Southeast Asia or basically across the world. Okay. But for me, I work closely with our agents that are based in Indonesia, in Brunei, in Vietnam, Myanmar, you know, like the Southeast Asian countries. When they actually hosted an event over there, they'll invite us to actually go to their events. So it's more towards an education event where we presented what we can offer from the university itself. So we met with students, we met with parents who have any like inquiries to enter the university. Yeah. So that's what we do.
Crucially, I have to ask you, there are many students who think they know what they want to do. So they will end up in university, take a certain course, and halfway through they realize that this is not for me, right? It might lead to a loss of faith in their own ability or a sense of lack of direction. What advice do you have for students who need to make that shift? And how do they find what's good for them and what's right for them?
So I think there's a lot of way that students can actually figure out what they want to do. Usually when I met with students who are unsure of what their pathway would be, I would advise them to actually refer back to their school years and reflect on which subjects that you actually liked the most. Yeah, so that's actually one thing that you can actually consider. Because SPM or IGCSE, you know, in high school you have to learn a lot of subjects, okay, and you have to take exams as well. But I'm pretty sure not everyone loves everything. Okay, you might not like maths, you might not like physics, okay, but you can focus on the one that you like the most. For example, if you like biology and chemistry, okay, you can start focusing on that one. Also, there's a lot of career pathway kind of tests or a degree pathway test. You can actually do it online to see which areas of study that you link with the most. Yeah, so you can also consider doing that. Once you actually know that you like what subjects, for example, you like biology and chemistry, and then you can choose a pathway that leads you to actually to become something that is related to the subjects lah. For example, medicine. So if you like those two subjects, you can venture to medicine, or you can venture to maybe dentistry, pharmacy.
I mean, now that we're at the end of the interview, right? This is whole journey, what we call Lepas Sekolah. Are you able to encapsulate it into 3 words?
Challenging but rewarding. I'm Amir, and this is my journey Lepas Sekolah.